growing up with few friends in your circle may not necessarily be a bad thing. That's a hot take and potentially even controversial. Uh, just thinking, well, we're humans. We need social interaction, but talking as somebody in their early 20s that grew up with social media, especially come middle school and high school, social media just became the big thing. TikTok and Instagram and all that. Even I fell for it. I would post whatever on Instagram thinking, oh, I'm going to get such a huge fan base. Did I? Nope. My account has, I think, a little over 100 followers to this day. And I just post I don't even know. I don't really post much anymore because I just don't see a point in it really. Especially just, you know, why should I do it to get famous when it's not going to happen? So, anyways, that's not the point. I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about having a small friend circle. So, if I'll paint the picture. Um, I guess early on in school, I had next to no friends. I always found it hard to make friends, and that's just because I believe I'm neurodivergent. Uh, and yeah, it was just a lot harder for me. I'm not one to be social. I hate social gatherings with a passion. I shouldn't say hate with a passion. They just make me a bit uncomfortable, and I much prefer my own space where I can enjoy whatever. If I want a game or do whatever, I don't have to answer to somebody else. Not to say that's an authorial problem where, oh, screw the police, I'm not going to listen to you. That's not it at all. My point is that sometimes being alone and enjoying things, or doing things alone rather, is not a bad thing, because I see a lot of these massive friend groups that they may thrive during grade school, but once you graduate high school, you walk across that stage and maybe that first summer things are all right. You guys are enjoying yourselves and thinking, "Oh, this is going to last forever." But then you kind of come to find out that it doesn't. A lot of people will just forget about you and carry on as if you weren't there. And that doesn't happen to everybody. Some friend groups may thrive, and it was based off a genuine connection. And I applaud those friend groups because you didn't build off of just proximity and just certain things in school. You had the genuine connection, which I find nowadays is so hard to get, like a genuine connection. I've seen these countless videos with the same title. It's that damn phone. And that's one of the reasons. But I find today's generation, and I'm amongst that generation where socializing is just such a huge problem. People can walk into a gas station. Hey, I worked in a gas station for 4 years of my life, and I find some people are just that miserable where you can say hello to them. And you're not even mumbling, like you're actually like, hello, how are you? You're not happy or sad. You're just like a neutral approach. They're a new person, so you're not going to assume that they're an ass or that they're a big jokester. So you just approach like that. But then some people, they stare at you like you're an alien or something. So Martians now apparently are social creatures, and that Earthlings are antisocial. So you do not belong on this planet, you scumbag. You're socializing to me. How disgusting. um. So was this person lonely? Hard to say, but you know, common human decency is not that hard, really. Geez, went on some tangent about that. That's a whole other video I could have made. Um, anyways, being by yourself and having a small friend group is not that bad because you can kind of hold on to your own beliefs. It's hard to paint that picture. So the best way I could put it is that you don't have others around you kind of shaping things. It's super hard to explain because not everybody is gonna be alone. They're gonna be athletes. They're gonna go to parties. They're gonna have these big dreams and will have people surround them. But not everybody's like that. If you're like me, you went through most of your life not alone, but you had a couple friends, but you weren't overly social to the point where you go to parties. I almost considered going to parties because I thought, well, this might give me a chance. But would there ever be a genuine connection? Probably not. Because more than likely, a lot of these are based off of just people drinking and such. And that's the other problem is substance abuse is just a huge problem with a lot of folks in school. And that's why I just thought, well, let's just stay away from it until I go to college or just start work. Then maybe I'll branch out. And it worked for me. Not to say it'll work for everybody, and I'm not saying this is a one size fits all lifestyle where you keep quiet for your first 12 years of school, and then once you graduate and move on with your life, you bloom into this magnificent flower that looks like a peacock, and you just start socializing like your life depends on it. No, that's not what I mean. You find a lot of comfort and whatever it is in just enjoying your own company. And that way, when that time comes where everybody kind of just buzzes off without you telling them to, it doesn't hurt. And you don't worry about all that. And you don't worry about just not be like, you're not worried about being alone because in a way you already were, but you were just happy with your own company. And that's kind of the beauty of enjoying your own company. You find yourself and you really come to know who you are as a person. And I've learned that I found this past year I was always one that even though I was happy with my lifestyle of having few friends, I wanted to branch out and become somebody I wasn't meant to be. And potentially I could have changed it and it would have worked out for the best. Who knows? It could have been even better than me just sitting here ranting at a microphone with Minecraft running in the background while I think of, well, what the hell do I do for my background footage? um, but I'm happy with what I got, and I really do not want to downplay other people's choices. You know, if you're social and you're a social butterfly, by all means, keep on trucking because people like you keep this world going in a way. But what I'm trying to do here is empower the people like me that don't really have that sort of social status, whether it's by choice or because their surroundings kind of dictated that. So being different, especially, is one of the big problems. So if you are different in any way, so if you like anime or you like Minecraft, you know, I've said to people, I like Minecraft. I was considered weird because I like a game about blocks and building stuff, showing your creativity and all that. Were they jealous? Were they just wanting to have fun? I got no idea, and I will never know. And I don't care because I enjoy what I do, and nobody can judge that. Which is another point, is people will not turn on you because if you don't have anybody, or I should be saying a smaller crowd, you're not going to have to worry about what others think of you. That's why once I graduated high school, it was such a nice relief to finally be away from all that. Not to say I haven't experienced it again. Like, I've met people that I knew were complete jerks, and I just knew it was going to go south because They just want to mess with you or whatever it is. And being a dumb teenager, I did not know what to do. I never knew what to do until now. But anyways, I digress. Point being is sometimes life can be better when you enjoy it by yourself. Whether you take a trip by yourself or you just do something by yourself. It doesn't have to be a big trip. It can be anything, literally anything. You do it by yourself, and it could be just as fulfilling, if not more fulfilling, especially if you do struggle socially. But if you do want to have that, by all means, you can be social. Go organize something with your friends. But sometimes taking time for yourself is beneficial. It lets you take a break from the world and find yourself as a person and not have to worry about what others think. It is such an amazing feeling to have that sort of freedom, even if it's for a day, to not worry about anything. When you can just go on, do your own merry thing, and not worry at all. And that can help you down the road to not worry about what others think of you. You're your own person. There's only one of you in this world. So do not let anybody stop you. Unless you're committing a crime. If you're committing a crime and you're hurting somebody else, well, get the hell out of here. Because, well, screw you. You absolutely suck. And you should not be taking advantage of that. But if you're using it for good and you're just minding your own business, well, then you're on the right track. And I wish any person that stumbles upon this video, I know as I'm making this channel is small as hell and I haven't uploaded in weeks. I had a bit of a slump, as sometimes I do. But to anybody that comes across this video, I do hope that, especially if you are struggling with being alone, and even then if you choose to be alone, sometimes it is hard being alone. As I said at the start of the video, we are humans designed to socialize. But some quirky thing goes on in our brain that says, I hate socializing. So if you're one of those people, just know that you're valid and you don't always have to be there for others. Don't shut people out, obviously. Don't go radio silent and make them worry. But you don't have to show up all the time just for nothing. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about for today. A bit more of a serious topic. You can expect a few more of these videos here and there because I think I'd like to more so tell some somewhat personal stories from experience rather than read off Reddit stories. Because honestly, I'm not liking it. And who knows, maybe this might help some people. And if it helps people, I'll be happy. Because we need that in today's world. In a world full of scary stuff. You know, you can just name one thing. But we're not going to go down into that. I hope to be somebody's light. And feel free to stick around. You know, if you want to subscribe to the channel, subscribe. Go for it. I'll be very happy. You know, if I see that, then I'll know I helped somebody. So, if I was able to help you today, feel free to like the video or subscribe. You do what you like. I'm not going to force you. Especially if you did make it to the end. Even that is enough for me to see that the video was good enough. But, go on, if you like. Promotional stuff. It's so fun, isn't it? You feel so awkward as hell trying to promote. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. But you don't want to seem needy or anything like that. I gotta perfect that. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Stay safe out there and just know that if you're going through something, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Anyways, for now, that'll be it. Have a good one.